Good morning, guys, and happy Thanksgiving. I just wanted to share some thoughts that I have as I'm driving from my home in Edwardsville to my family's home in Mount Vernon. As I go there, I'm aware, I'm really excited to see my family and trade stories about when we were younger and shoot the breeze about stuff and talk about the world out there and enjoy food and trade barbs and banter and joke and all that. I'm excited about that, but at the same time I recognize that there's a growing divide between myself and my family in a way, and really a growing divide between myself and my friends of yesteryear, because it's really hard for people who are not in the business owner or entrepreneur space to really wrap their mind around what it is like to live in this lifestyle. And I know that people like you guys, box owners, entrepreneurs, will relate to this, that it's a very, very, very different thing being an entrepreneur when you are responsible for essentially everything in your business. And especially if you're in a service business where you're working with people, if you're the owner, if you're the entrepreneur, if you're a good one, then you recognize and you act regularly and repeatedly on the fact that every problem is your problem and you are responsible for fixing it. So what happens for the entrepreneur is, especially when you're new, if you are fully committed, like if you've gotten to a point where you've quit your other job, where it's sink or swim, you wanted to take the island so you burned the boats. If the business that you run is your lifestyle and it is how you provide for yourself and your family, if there is if failure is not an option, then you realize very quickly that you have to get really, really good at solving problems. You have to get really, really good at fixing things that are messed up with yourself, the structure of your operation, the teams that you have built. Everything is your fault. And so as an entrepreneur, especially if you're gonna be a high performance one, what happens is you are constantly learning and growing and evolving. You are constantly learning and growing and evolving, which necessarily means that who you are on day zero of entrepreneurship and who you are at 6 months of entrepreneurship is different. And who you are on day zero of entrepreneurship and who you are on day 12 of entrepreneurship are different. This goes on all the time. And so where this can become a fissure or divide between yourself and your friends, your family, is that when your friends and your family see you on 3 years into your journey or 6 years into your journey, you're not the same person that you were then, because your survival depended on you evolving and growing, fixing the problems that you had before. And all good entrepreneurs, all good business owners recognize the success of your business comes down to your ability to solve problems. In fact, you say all of business is problem solving. All of the world's greatest business people, all of the world's greatest entrepreneurs were people who identified a problem and they did something to solve that problem, probably for somebody else. Many entrepreneurs invent the product or create the service that they wanted to scratch their own itch. Richard Branson created Virgin Airlines because he wanted a better airline experience, right? He saw a problem, he went out to fix it. And as professional problem solvers, when your survival depends on it and you have to learn and adapt and grow and change and evolve and get better because your competition is growing and evolving and changing and getting better, or there's more competition, people flood into the market that you're in or whatever, like as you change, you don't necessarily resemble the person that you were before. And when you have change like that, sometimes the people that you grew up with, your friends, maybe your family, they're not growing or adapting in the same way that you are, and they may have a harder and harder time relating to you and connecting with you. It is very obvious to me on an every single day basis that a huge number of the people that I would consider to be family or friends of mine, I can't really talk to them about what my everyday life is like because people just cannot relate to it. People just cannot relate to the idea of I have to fix this problem at my business, or the whole operation could come crashing down, or I have to figure out how to navigate the new Facebook world, Facebook's new rule set. I have to learn how to manage that, or my lifestyle. Like I may not be able to make my home payment next month if I don't fix this problem. I'm now responsible for looking after the interests of well over 300 people. There are people whose entire livelihood depends on my success. If I fail at what I need to do every single day, it's not just my family that may not be able to put food on the table. It is several other families that may not be able to put food on their table. Like, this is not elective, this is a mission critical thing. And there's always some huge problem. It's like as you grow and evolve, you're just trading lower quality problems for higher quality problems. You solve X, Y, or Z problem, and then the next thing you know, after a week or two, is that some other problem emerges. With growth, the business evolves also. And the more people you have to look after, the more lives you are responsible for, the more people that you are shepherding, the more varied and different your problem sets become. And you just keep leveling up, you keep improving, right? But it means that the people around you, people who have steady 9-to-5 jobs, people who have a consistent paycheck because they show up at 9, they do what they're responsible for doing, and they go home at 5 p.m. and they stop thinking about work. People who live that lifestyle, much love, much respect for you guys, because just like Gerber talked about in the E-Myth, very few people were made by God to do entrepreneurial lifestyle. It is uniquely ass-kicking and rigorous. It is uniquely emotionally, intellectually, psychologically, spiritually exhausting to be an entrepreneur. And most people that clock in, clock out, love them because that they're probably fulfilling their purpose in life. That is what they were designed to do. Very few people want to have any part of the emotional ass kicking that is the every day-to-day life of the entrepreneur. They just cannot relate to that lifestyle, and you just can't talk about it with them. They just cannot possibly understand. I've tried. I've attempted to bridge the gap with folks who are not in the business owner space, the entrepreneurial space, and tell them like what it's really like on a day-to-day basis. And their eyes typically glaze over. They don't know what to say in response to it because they just can't understand. It's sort of like, you know, I think of my business in these terms very, very frequently, that my business is essentially another child of mine. It is it is a part of me. It is an extension of my identity. Just like, you know, you parents out there, your children become an extension of you, an extension of your identity. They are unique and special in their own way. They'll develop their own characteristics and tendencies, but you are responsible for them 100%, especially when they're new, especially when they're not fully grown and mature yet. My business is very much like a child that I must tend to constantly and teach. The parents listening out there, like, if you are a parent, you recognize that if you're not a parent, you just don't really know what it's like. Like, until you've had children and you've been in that position and you've had that kind of responsibility on your plate, you can't really understand. So all the parents out there will relate. Like, you look at your non-parent friends and they say they're too busy to do X, Y, and Z, and you're like, what are you talking about? Are you kidding me? Do you realize how much free time you have? Do you have any idea how much freedom and liberty you have to just go and do stuff? Like, when like non-parents talk to parents about how they're too busy for X or Y or Z, I'm sure every parent out there has this thought at least cross their mind, like, come on, dude, like, you have a perspective problem. Like, you don't even realize how easy you have it when you are not responsible for a child. And, you know, much love, and completely, I say this completely respectfully, like, it's exactly the same way as a business owner. Like, when I see folks that, you know, clock in at 9 and clock out at 5 and talk about how they're just too busy, I'm like, dude, you don't even realize. Like, you have no idea how much free time you have, how much liberty you have. And I say this lovingly and respectfully, like, until you are in this space, you just can't understand. You just cannot know what it's like for every single night, every single weekend, all of the time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days of the year. You will have problems just raining down that you have to fix because it is your child that you are responsible for, and you can't just relinquish that responsibility because it's a holiday or because it's a weekend and you wanted to go out and have fun with your friends. Sorry, the business needs you. You have to attend to it. Like, it's just so different. Like, people who aren't box owners, aren't entrepreneurs, are gonna have a really, really hard time connecting with your life and relating to your life as you grow and adapt. So just understand that there is a human cost, a relational cost to high-level entrepreneurship, and it's just what it is. Like, you can't do anything about it because most people will not be forced to grow and adapt and evolve as quickly as you are, and you will find that you will connect and relate to different people, probably people in the entrepreneurial space, because they understand. And so all of your not entrepreneurial friends, there's going to be a gap there. There's going to be distance between you and them. Nothing you can do about it. So anyway, I was just thinking about that on this drive. Happy Thanksgiving to you guys. I'm thankful for all of you. Thankful for all of the people in my life, my family, my friends. Thankful for all of the clients that I get to work with every single day. So many wonderful people. Yesterday we did a 12 days of thankfulness workout at our gym, and there was so much joy there for me to see all of these wonderful people of all these different walks of life coming together and relating over fitness and bonding over shared suffering. Like, that was just really, really, really cool for me. And having packed classes at 5 a.m. and 6:30 a.m. and 8 a.m. and 9:30 a.m. and noon and 4 p.m. and 5:30 and 7 p.m. like, just made my heart so happy that so many people would carve out time around the holidays to come in and share this. Like, it was so joyful for me. So thank you to everyone who is in my life, whether you're in the entrepreneur space or not, whether you're in the business owner space or not. I just want to say to you, I love you guys. Thank you. Thank you for being you. Thank you for fulfilling your purpose in life. And I hope that in the next year, I'm thankful for what I've been able to do so far. I hope that in the next year, I'm able to continue to serve every one of you guys in new and better ways as I grow and evolve. Peace.